Hi, I'm Jorge Rimblas from Insum Solutions, and I'm here with Marc Sewtz from Oracle. Marc is Senior Product Manager on the Apex team, and we're lucky enough to have seen a session yesterday at the Sony Symposium talking about new features in 19.2, and it's very exciting, Marc. I bet you made it look easy, but it's going to be easy for me, but I don't think it's that easy.
Well, it's always been our goal to make Apex as easy as possible, and that's really been a big push over the last 2 or 3 releases since 18.1, since we started focusing on low-code development more to kind of really make it more accessible to a broader audience. I'm impressed by some of the features. I really like the new pop-up LOV. A long time coming, right? That's been asked
we've
for
always
a long
wished
time.
we had it for a long time, but I noticed something that I think always happens, and you guys are doing it right.
Thanks.
You know, I think often we don't get features that are half implemented. I think even if they're incomplete, you can see that you put a lot of thought process into it, right?
Yeah, that's right, and we changed our development process recently to have more of a train-based model where we kind of work on big features like the new LOVs, but then we kind of look how far along they are, and then we decide whether to put them into 19.1 or 21 or 19.2 or whichever release is appropriate. When they're far enough along, stable enough to be included, then we make the call to include it.
Right. That's interesting that you touch on that, because now we're all learning to deal with this new release schedule, right? And I think it's been a learning curve for end users and people implementing. But tell me how it is within Oracle. I mean, you kind of gave me a hint. You start working on something, and if it's going to be ready, you slate it in.
Yes, that's pretty much right. So like last year with 18.1, we first switched to a year-based versioning scheme.
Yeah.
So rather than calling it Apex 3, 4, 5, it's now based on the year.
Yeah.
And then we're looking to have 2 releases every year. Mm-hmm. So last year we had 18.1 in May and then 18.2 in September. Mm-hmm. This year so far we had Apex 19.1 coming out in March, and we're looking to have a second release later this year. Mm-hmm. And
should I extrapolate the dates then? I mean,
you could, I guess.
to figure out the date?
We hope it averages out every 6 months. It won't be exactly that, but in the past we had quarterly patches that we were always looking to release just prior to the database CPUs, database critical patch updates, just so that DBAs would be able to install Apex along with the database patches, so that it's only like one update, one effort to kind of make these updates. We're still hoping to stick to those schedules, but there will always be some back and forth. We don't want to release too early, but we also don't want to hold up a release anymore for any one big feature, right? Like page designer took a long time to implement.
Right.
Interactive grids took a long time to implement. And now we would like to kind of have a model where we work on a big feature like the pop-up LOVs, but then we determine when they're ready, then they're going to be merged into our main development instance, and then they're going to be part of the next release.
Got it.
So I'm pretty hopeful for pop-up LOVs to be in our next release, because we already
We're
had
hoping.
it.
Well, it isn't a statement of work, isn't it?
We have the statement of direction that kind of spells out, but I think that really...
Things change.
Things change. And we kind of keep the statement of direction up to date, so customers should keep an eye on it on a frequent basis, right? Like we may at some point add a list for 21 and some features may move.
Yeah, absolutely. What about sort of an emergency patch, an emergency fix, something maybe
well, if
can't
there's
wait?
a severe bug found, if a customer calls up Oracle support and has a severe bug that must be fixed, security issue, some other loss of service kind of bug, then Oracle's fixing these bugs, and Oracle's making available a PSE, patch set exceptions through Oracle support. And in the past we would have these PSEs one by one. One bug found, fixed, PSE made available. Now we're actually taking these PSEs and putting them into a bundle PSE, so that you have like all the bugs found and fixed since 19.1 came out.
Got it.
And just this past weekend, we actually updated our hosted instances, apexoracle.com, to this latest bundle PSE, which has about 10, 12 bugs in there that have been fixed. and that same bundle PSE is available through Oracle support that customer can download there.
And then that would rev the last version of the digits of the
No,
version?
that remains the same. That's just bundle PSE here.
Okay, so is there a way for, if we're just looking at the Apex interface, to tell that that PSE has been installed, or not yet? Or there's no...
We can determine that, but yeah, it's not that obvious.
Okay.
But yeah, you can.
There's also, you know, changing topics. I feel like we're learning a whole new set of acronyms.
Yeah.
Lots of ACE things.
That's right.
ATP, or what are we calling it?
Well, that's the Autonomous Database.
Yeah, why don't you educate me on that?
The Autonomous Database is Oracle's newest cloud-based database offering, and it comes in two flavors. It comes with the Autonomous Transaction Processing, or ATP,
okay,
and it comes with the Autonomous Data Warehousing flavor, ADW. Both of them are basically the same databases, but they are optimized for the workload, for data warehousing workload, or for transaction processing.
Right, right.
And the real benefits are that they're autonomous, right? They are self-driving, self-securing, self-scaling, so you get a lot of automation from the service, and Oracle is managing that service for you. So you sign up, and the database runs. Soon you'll find Apex, SQL Developer Web, and ODTUG on this as well, also managed for you by Oracle. Okay.
Now, I mean, Apex has always been a feature of the database, right? So what can we expect now, Apex and ATP, and is there any new integration, any new magic there, or just the same we've come to expect?
Well, it's going to be very similar. When you sign up for ATP, ADW today, you'll find Apex being in there very soon. So you kind of go to the ATP console, you look under administration to all the functionality that's there, and you will find ODS, Oracle Data Services. You'll find the new SQL Developer Web there, and you find Apex. So you can navigate into Apex right there. The sign up is a little bit different. Your workspaces are tied to your database users, but essentially you create a workspace like you would on your on-premise Apex installation today. Create your workspaces, create your users, and then start developing Apex applications.
Now, is ATP, all the autonomous stuff, just cloud solutions for now, right? Or is it downloadable?
No, ATP is a cloud-based service, a managed service that Oracle manages for you.
Okay. And out of curiosity, are there Exadata type machines that are running on, or probably?
Probably, yeah. I'm not exactly sure about the internals, but yeah, they are.
That would make sense, right? Yeah. Well, very interesting. Marc, it's always good to see you here at Kscope, and we hope to see you next year in Kscope 20 in Boston.
Yeah, would love to be there.